Hey guys, welcome back to the 2911 podcast. We're back with another episode. You know how it goes.
We're live.
This week, the last 2 weeks in youth at church, we'll be doing like a mini sermon series on.
Calm.
Okay.
What does it say?
Are these like cinema glasses?
No.
Shades, bro.
Shades.
Oh,
It's got a bit of an orange tone.
Looks good, bro. Shades inside as well.
Bro, shades, bro. You should have seen me last week at Bridge Music, bro. Shades inside.
Shades in a dark concert.
Yeah, what?
I just felt like being woke that day, bro. I can't lie, it was so woke. Do you know what,
shades on,
bro? There was actually just no need for my shades on inside. Someone even came up to me like, Lana came
black as well.
To be fair, the lens was a bit like, it's like a bit clear, but Lana came up to me like, why are you being so mysterious with the shades on? I was like,
you know what's the funniest thing?
Why not, bro?
So you met, obviously you guys know him, but he wore shades on a date. I've never seen someone do that before.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But
Is it who I think it is?
yeah, just
okay, I know it is. Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah. Of course you do that. I can't lie, there's something about shades though.
No, it's something about shades.
Aura still.
Man. That's
Shades for a day is insane.
That's crazy.
It depends which day. If it's a first date, no, but I do it.
It
now.
was.
Okay, that's insane.
Hey, that's the boy for you, innit?
That's a boy, innit?
You're gone.
But yeah, this week the last 2 weeks in youth, we've been doing a series on like friendship in it. So it's just been something that's, I guess, been on my mind or on my heart recently, and especially because like everyone, like all the youth know that if Daniel's preaching, he's gonna bring up the mandem all the time. Like I always say that like, I need to meet these friends. That's why like when I think Quaz came to the church, one of the youth was like, "Oh my days, is that him?"
Just be easy,
bro.
though, man.
She's at the door, bro. I was like, "Come say hi." She eventually did. It's the one that you spudded. I don't even remember. Yeah. One of the young G's in it. But she was like, everyone is like in awe of the friends. By God's grace, everyone's in awe of the friends that I have because man, them are stamped, bro. I've got some great people around me, and it's very hard for me to talk about like God and like my life without mentioning my friends. But I also know that especially when I'm speaking to the youth and just speaking to people in general, that's not everybody's reality. Like you think it again, like it's something that we probably all just take for granted because this friendship has been with us since we started our faith. But
even before that.
Even before that. But a lot of people just don't have people that they can go to, and they don't have people that respond to them in the same way that I feel like the guys respond. So like if something tough is going on, their friends are nowhere to be seen. If their friend has violated them, it's just an airing thing. There's no proper like talking through things, or like there's no
hard conversations.
You get what I mean? Whereas I feel like we have tough conversations with each other.
I saw a quote. It said that if you're not ready to have the uncomfortable conversations now, just wait for the result of not having those conversations.
No, that's real. Like I literally have a brethren, a very, very good friend of mine, right? And then she was going through something. She had like a big thing coming up. And I was like to her, like, good luck, hope it goes well, hope you're alright, kind of thing. I spoke to her a couple weeks later, she was like, oh, like, my brethren didn't shout me, like, they didn't check on me after, they didn't shout. I'm like, yo, that's dark, like. And I think it's exactly what you say, like, if you don't have those uncomfortable conversations, like, then stuff like that just keeps happening.
You know what, like, even if you go through like a season or a time where you're going through like a transition period, like when you get that dub, like it brings like a happiness for the people around. You know, like say for instance, like as you said in the last episode, Quabs, when you said about you for masters, innit? I was at work stressed, you know, but I saw that message, I was just happy, innit? Like, and it just like I was like, bro, like I just knowing the journey, the conversations in Brumtown, you know, trying to keep on pushing, kind of keep on going as well. Like it made me realize, like those dubs, like they're bigger, especially when you got the right people around.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. Like with my masters, it's just a perfect example for me, like of like just having like solid group of people around you. Because as I said, like throughout the whole 5 years or whatever, I never felt like, and a lot of guys, obviously us guys, you know, we pride ourselves in trying to get it. But at times you can feel like you're being a bit left behind as well. And it's not even on you're envying your friends or envying those ahead of you, but it's more like that you require or you expect better from yourself, you expect more from yourself. And like I said in my little monologue last episode that hey, the guys in the 5 years, bro, I've been in a bubble for so long. I feel like I've just been in a bubble with the guys, with my friends outside, with my family. That environment has just been so healthy. Like, man can shout the guys, man can shout my family, man can shout just people around me, knowing that they genuinely care for me. And I was talking to, who was I talking to about yesterday? I think it was you. Yeah. And I was talking to Flex about it as well, about like being around people who genuinely care about you. Because I think it's easy to think people care about you until certain things creep up and then you deep that, hold on, you don't actually care about me the way that I think you do. In the sense of like, I was trying to square about yesterday, saying that the reason why I'm able to be so free with the guys, not rigid or anything like that, is because I know that even if you don't really care about what I'm talking about, for example, I'm pretty sure there's been countless times man's telling you that, lectures were this, lectures was that. Guys were just looking at me like, I don't know a single thing you're talking about.
Some heart conditions.
However, because I'm your friend and you care about me, naturally you're going to care about what I'm talking about. Yeah. And it kind of just like, that's the way I've seen it, in the sense of having friends that they look at you and they don't know anything you do, like they don't have any inkling of like, or like desire of maybe what you actually do. But because it's you, they just naturally care about it. And that's what's kind of I've seen, like when, bro, in the middle of my masters, when my shoulder, I had to get the surgery, that guys were coming to my yard like every week. I wasn't asking guys to come to my yard, they were just coming to my yard. Even my parents looked at me like, rah, like, you have some good friends, like, because guys were just coming to my house, just staying there. Just staying there, we're just chilling, just talking. And guys don't know that, bro, that year, it did a lot for my mental, bro. Like, because 2023, that was a dark year. I just found out that, I'm going to have to stay at home for the year. I've just got surgery for my shoulder. They're telling me my shoulder's as old as a 70-year-old man. They're telling me that, I'm gonna be out for a whole year. Guys didn't look at any of that. They didn't look at me like, you're moving weak. You're doing, because guys, sometimes a guy can look at you like, you're moving late, bro. Like, but guys never allowed me to even feel like that an ounce. And I was saying, like, you want your girl, for example, to look at you as the latest guy in the world, but you also want your guys to have a level of respect for you.
Yeah, you don't want to be late to the man.
You don't want to be late to the guys. And even if you are in a place where you don't feel up to it, the guys don't make it seem as if you're not up to it. And that's, I think, what that respect, that trust, that safeness, as they will say, it feels like it, because you want to feel safe, quote unquote,
I think
around your guys, isn't it?
It sounds a bit wide to kind of articulate.
I knew it was coming.
It actually sounds mad, but I think the same, like in the least sus way possible. I feel like around the man, I feel like the man baby me a lot. Like, I just come to the man complaining. like I remember, maybe a month or two ago now, I pulled up at Krabs' house, yeah. Krabs was going through some stuff as well at the time. I just pulled up there, my problem, like, hey, man, I won't leave my job. And it's like, obviously we spoke about what Krabs was going through, and it's like, I'm pretty sure, and we stayed there till quite late.
Bro. That's when I got that bang, bro.
Bro, Krabs has got a bang in it, and I'm just coming there complaining about I want to leave my job. And it's like, I think that's the thing, it's like,
for free, man.
Man, them always make time for each other, and sometimes if the man are tweaking, we'll say, bro, you're tweaking, innit? But if you're actually like concerned about something, complaining about, however small or stupid it is, the man will still give you time for your nonsense, you know?
You know what's even like key, like with the friends I have, is like, generally I think that the guys I have here, I think that generally littlest guys, like in terms, like, you're around people who are older, people even younger, but like when I compare it to the guys, I'm like, nothing can compare in terms of their discipline, their intellect, their knowledge, how they're able to go through different seasons. And like, even in everyone's own individual's profession or like the hobbies that they do, like, it's like I almost have this thing.
You're in
like,
awe of your friends.
Yeah, like the little star boys in my own like
own right.
Yeah. Like, we got pastor right here. We got pharmacist.
Just cool, man. Just cool.
And more.
Cool. It's just
We
cool.
got transition.
Bro, whenever I hear BN's job title, it makes me laugh, bro. But why does he have that job title?
But
we got a boy Hart killing the fashion scene, bro.
Yeah.
Shout out, man.
It seems like the way it's all formed. And my mum, like obviously when it came to Birmingham, you guys kept to come to my house a lot. My mum, like, always said, right, bro, like these friends, like, there's always something. She always asks me about individually, like, how's Bjorn doing? How's Crumpton? How's Square doing? Even like when you pass, I told my mum, she's like, hey, where is he?
Yeah.
Where is he? Tell him come to the house. We'll celebrate. But it's like, it makes you remind myself, like, even during the tough battles you guys go, sometimes I'm on the phone and I say, like, you guys got this. God's got you. You guys got God. God got you. You guys will get through anything. Like, there's been countless of times where examples have come up, seasons have come up. I'm like, yeah. I know the guys that are around my circle, like, almost like, give me more.
And do you know what it is? I think the guys are willing to play the minutes when it's required.
And I think the men are very dependable.
Yes,
like,
yes.
There's never been a time where
minutes when it's
man, it's funny because my mum was telling me, she's giving me this lecture like at least 5 times about don't let women break up the man them. It's so funny.
Bro, my mum, who told me that yesterday? My dad told me that yesterday, bro. He was like, you lot have such a good friendship. Don't allow your wives and women to come and break it up.
My mum gave the lecture to Axe as well about when you told her that you have a girl in it.
So every single time I go to Beyonce's house, she always pulls this like, wait, come. Make sure. And then when she actually met my girl, and then they're talking a bit, she's like, oh yeah, she's not breaking you guys. You guys have a good one.
Good one, bro.
No, but I think that's a very, very big thing. And I think, like, cool. When I was thinking about godly friends, I think one of the big mistakes Christians make is we think, this is a friend who loves God, is a godly friend.
Yeah,
nah. Because, for example, I have some friends who I have not been a good friend to. Mm-hmm. And they probably expected better of me because I'm someone who loves God and I'm their friend. And apologies to you people, innit? And it's like, when I look at the examples of good friendships and bad friendships, both on what I've done to people and both what I've received from people, it's like you cannot bank on somebody being a Christian.
So what makes, for anyone that may not know, what do you think makes a good friend?
What makes a good friend is it's a willingness. For me, I think that's the number one thing. Yeah. It's a godly friend is someone that's willing to reflect God in your friendship. Mm-hmm. That's it. And when you think about what God is dependable, God is reliable, God is loving, caring, a good listener, willing to rebuke you.
Impartial.
Do you get me? Mm-hmm. And I think I say willingness because I have some friends,
Impartial is good.
I have some friends that people have asked me, why are you friends with X, Y, and Z person, innit? And when I think about them, it's like, there are some people who I recognize they're flawed. However, I can see a willingness to try and be better. And you know what I'm saying? And especially, like, I have some friends that over time I've seen them become that better friend. And obviously sometimes, you bank on some people developing as people. It doesn't work out, innit? But I think it's a willingness for me is the number one thing, because somebody, who loves God, but is not willing to love you. Because there's some people that are friends with you because you got aura. They're friends with you because you got money. Bro. Friends with you because
you treat them nice.
There are people we friends with you for. And the thing is, none of those things are always malicious either. Mm-hmm. It's like, you've got a good job. I want a good job. I'm gonna be cool with you. But sometimes you just have to see it for what it is and what it ain't.
Bro, I think for me, especially like talking to the youth this week, bro, goes back to the letter A, bro. Go back to the letter A about like accountable. I told them, like, I was telling them, a friend who just always supports you no matter what. Like, when I mean support, obviously, if we're looking at the totality of support can also be accountability. But a friend who's like always just siding and agreeing with you all the time, I don't believe they're a good friend. No. Because there's going to be times where you're moving mad, and they have to be able to hold you accountable. Like, they have to be able to pull you aside and just tell you, brother, this is wrong. So, for example, one of my friends when we'll go in paddle, shouts to girl Eden, she was asking me that if you saw one of the man them cheating on their girlfriend, like you went paddle, you just see, I saw BN lips and someone else.
Wait, why me?
I'm just saying, you ever go in it? So what's it called? And she said, she said that, would you snitch on him? And I said, bro, I'd come out to BN and tell him, like, bro, what you're doing is insane, bro. Like, I'd correct him face to face, innit? And I'll tell him, you must tell your girl. Like, you must tell her this has happened. And if you do not, I am going to tell her. And she was shocked. She was like, not shocked in terms of like you shouldn't do that, but she was shocked in a sense of that you would do that. I'm saying, bro, because that's what a real friend is. Because like Bien said, like, you know, they love God, they love you. If you say that you love your friend, one of the number one ways that you love your friend is to hold them to the standard of the word of God. That is what it looks like.
It's
to
very
love your
funny
friend.
you say this, actually. I haven't lipped any other girl. But there was actually an occasion where, cool, so long story short, I wanted to leave my relationship. I was so vexed. Like, my girl really, really irritated me. And
That's the way to start off.
I was so vexed in it, like, and I've just come off the phone with her, and I'm just still like, "What you talk to you like that?" And I've called DSQ in it, and I'm like, "Bro," she says this, and this he asked me a question. He said, "Can you look in the mirror and say that you're blameless and you haven't done anything wrong?" And he said like, "This man asked me that," and then I was kind of like, "No, obviously I haven't, but she's done more," and he's like. That's not the question. And like, long story short, like, if it wasn't for that conversation, I think I would have been single now. And it's like
that's PG,
and regretted it.
Yeah,
And you regretted it.
it sounds PG, but that's the thing. But what the world sees as a good friend is someone who just always like. Because again, I also acknowledge how you felt. Definitely in that. I didn't say brush how you felt, but. A good friend in the eyes of the world, or even when I was really younger, someone like, oh no, okay, Bien's feeling that way. Oh yeah, calm. I'm encouraging him in his feelings because of the fact that I love him or I'm close to him.
I think that's the thing, is that people sometimes get the difference wrong between validating your feelings and supporting your side.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not always the same.
Because I literally told her, like, why on earth would I do that? I was like, bro, that's for the school playground, bro. Like we've matured over that, bro. It's not about back your brethren over everything, bro. If your brethren is moving mad,
no,
you should be able to.
By the way, do you know why this is really funny? Because guys, I'm gonna read out what I saw on my Snap memories today, innit?
That's cool.
This is funny. It's about the man, innit? The man will all know about why this is really funny. Because I think this shows how far we've come as a friendship group. So, 14th of June, I'll tell you what year this is. 5 years ago. 5 years ago, 14th of June.
2020.
Girls, imagine if your man is in your uni city and other girls will come at 1 a.m. Cool. Now, this is funny because this is 5 years ago, right? And one man them did this, right? As in, one of the man them was in a relationship. They were going through some issues with their girl and went to see another girl. And as far as I'm concerned, the guy didn't do anything when he went there, but him going there was the problem. Yeah, will we ever know?
I heard he didn't.
I heard he did enough. But nonetheless, it's funny because it's not funny because at the time, we teased the guy about it. Said, "Oh, what? You have a girl, you're going to the other girls." But none of us actually sat him down and said, "Bro, you're violent."
Bro, we were violent.
Not one of us.
We just laughed.
But because
not we. They just laughed, didn't it?
What you did?
Man went to the.
I went there.
Oh, Drew, Krabs actually wasn't there.
He went there. But that's what you're saying, like, bro. And that's because we were in that spooky on the low. We weren't matured, but nowadays I was saying it to my friend, and my friend was shocked. She was like, I said, if the man them are tweaking and like it's publicly known, obviously if someone's keeping something secret, different. I said there isn't a chance that no one will hold you accountable. I can't imagine the man them just saying, "Oh yeah, like DSQ, just do that." I told her there is not a chance unless you're hiding it. If you bring up a situation, man them will be like, "You're moving mad, bro." Whether they obviously communicate in love or whatever, but they will let you hear the truth. And I think that's what accountability in friendship. It's just so vital. Again, it's not about always trying to tell your friend they're wrong or whatever, but it's just making sure that they're aligned with the standard of Christ. Because I told my friend about that situation. She was like, "Why would you do that?" And I was saying that if I came to one of the man them, they're clearly cheating their girl and they're refusing to tell their girlfriend, I'm a think my man's backsliding. I need to sort that situation out before my man starts tweaking even further. Because if I see my brother who's truly like in this context, they're Christian, they're mature, and they're cheating on their girl, and they have no conviction to do anything about it, to tell anyone, I'm gonna think there's something wrong with my brother. Genuinely, I think James talks about helping restore those who have fallen astray. I need to help him restore, and if that includes me exposing his thing to his girl,
so be it.
It just has to be done. That's what true friendship looks like, and I think that because I think what we've made friendship look like is just being nice and supporting for your friend. Or choosing their side for the sake of choosing their side. And I think that's just a bad friend. It
is. Something else though about what makes a good friend is proven. And I think this is really, really important. This week in Bible study, we're looking at Philippians chapter 2. And I was talking about what Paul said about Epaphroditus and about Timothy as well. And he says this, I considered it necessary to send you Epaphroditus, my brother, fellow worker, and fellow soldier, by your messenger and the one who ministered to my need, since he was longing for you all. And he goes on to say about, like, he said something very, very interesting. He said that for he was sick almost unto death, but God had mercy on him, and not only on him, but on me also, lest I should have sorrow upon sorrow. And I think that line there is deep. Because he's saying that by God saving his life, he had mercy on me, because I wouldn't want to be sad that he's gone.
Yeah.
And I think it's really interesting because the way he speaks of Epaphroditus, like, he's the minister that you need. He said he's the one that I can depend on. It's like he had shown himself to be that person. And I think this is another thing about godly friendship, right? See, God, when we look at God, yes, you experience things with God, you hope, etc., that he's going to do more for you. However, you also see his track record. And then, because of that track record, you trust him. And then he does things in your life that now you know he's stamped in my life. And I think it's the same with friends in the sense that you don't just say to someone, oh, yeah, this friend is my best friend. What has he done? I don't know. It's like, godly friends have to be friends that show up, because they have to be people that you can depend on because you've seen it happen.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not saying that you should have your guard up until they show you X, Y, and Z, but a good godly friend should want to even prove themselves. Because we were talking about, like, with Timothy, about how Paul speaks of him like a son, about how Timothy had to go out of his way to show himself approved. Mm-hmm. And it's the same with any friendship. You have to go out of your way to show yourself approved. And I think I think a lot of people are like, oh, I want to find friends. I don't have friends. I don't have Christian friends. But it's like, when you meet people, what are you doing to go out of your way to show yourself approved as, I want to show up being the extension of God's heart in your life? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the thing about rebuke as well. It's like, sometimes I rebuke my friends because I want to believe that I'm a big believer that sometimes you don't feel conviction on certain things because you either don't think it's an issue, you're hiding it from God, or when God's telling you, you're just brushing it. And so I want to make sure that the will of God in your life is being carried out, because I don't know what that could be attached to. You could be tweaking here when God was asking you to do X, Y, and Z with it. Yeah. So, like, I was talking to one of the men the other day about flirting. I was talking to one of the men about flirting. I was like, we're just saying how the things them can't run like that. Mm-hmm. Do you get me? And he was like, no, but I appreciate it, Kai, you're actually right. I appreciate you holding me accountable, etc., etc. And it's like, it wasn't a major thing, but it just did make me think, if you never have that conversation, you don't know what you could be rubbing out. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I think, a godly friend has to be somebody that wants to see God's will in your life happen. Yeah. It goes back to what you were saying about celebrating. Yeah. I don't know who I was with. When Quab sent the message about his that he passed, I was sitting next to somebody. I don't know if I was at home, but I must have shouted, innit? They're like, oh, like, what happened? So Quab's passed, innit? And it's like, people should be, you see how people talk about this stuff, like, don't talk about your news, people are haters. And like, hey, I'm so sorry for people that have friends like that. I've never once experienced the man hating on me. Yeah. And I don't think so anyway.
Watch that back door.
But I was gonna say, in terms of like
a
key characteristic of friendship, like we talk about, like we know without it goes without saying love, like someone who loves you. And this week, I guess in church, we were talking about, like, 1 Corinthians 13, it talks about, I always say, like, the ugly sides of love in terms of, like, bears all things, endures, forgives, holds no record of wrongs, perseveres. And the question I have for you, man, is that, like, because that is the standard of love. And obviously, if you want to be friend, like, love is a key fundamental component of friendship. Mm. So how can we get that type of love that produces longevity in our relationships whilst keeping, like, a high standard for our relationships? Because, like, so love bears all things. So that means that, obviously, I'm not saying that you need to be a punching bag, but, your friendship is gonna, there's gonna be some kinks in the friendship journey, clearly, with anyone. Like, how do you make sure that you're not just someone who just, at a first sign of, like, a disagreement with a friend, hey, blow this thing up? For example, for us, remember in the B, bro, when there was some mad stuff happening, the goose incident, like, bro, if we're being real, certain man will be like, brush, man, we're not friends anymore.
I've seen people fall out over less, to be fair.
Do you get what I mean? Yeah. But so how do we make sure that we have longevity in our friendships? We endure in love, we do all of that, but you still keep a high standard where people just aren't violating and you're turning a blind eye.
I've got. This is to me and Ax, yeah. I think you'll remember this.
But, I was funny enough. I was talking about this situation to Jeff the other day. I find it really funny. It's not funny, but it's funny.
So remember
the church. When
yes, that one, bro. And this is it's not perfect, but it's a good example, yeah. Because I remember. So long story short, so usually when Ax was in uni, I was in whatever. On Sundays, I'd take the train to Birms, then Ax would come and pick me up, and then we'll go to church. But I'd usually call Ax whilst I'm still in Wolves saying that, yo, I'm going to get to Birms at this time. So come up and cool. So I remember this day, bro, I don't know what Ax was on that day, but I called him, or he called me, and he's with Jeff, I believe. And they're like, and so I said, okay, we're going to get to Birms, I don't know, let's say 11:10. Church, always 11:10, we'll get to church, I don't know, 11:30, because he'll come pick me up, whatever. So I get to Birms 11:10. Ax hasn't said anything. Because usually he'll be like, oh, I'm on my way, like, or I'm outside or whatever. Yeah. 11:20, he hasn't said anything. 11:30, he hasn't said anything. So I'm like, hold on. I don't know, maybe he's in traffic. I've called him. Bro, where you at? Well, I'm at church. I'm like, what? I'm like, what do you mean that? Like, what do you mean you're at church? He's like, oh, yeah, like, I can't remember it, but he's at church. But for some reason, I'm like, bro, you could just told me. I'll just go to church myself kind of thing, innit? So in that moment right there and then, I knew, first I had to like, and I feel like a lot of people are too impulsive.
Yeah.
So
too emotional.
In that moment, yeah, not that I had every right to, but I had every right to basically be like, yo, bro, you're violating, like, because we've agreed you're gonna come pick me up, then we're gonna go to church. But I said to myself, nah, 'cause I looked at, and people don't also look at the wider
context of the friendship.
Context of the friendship. They don't also look at the wider consequence of what they're actually going to do if they say something or do something. For example, I knew that, hey, yeah, cool, I might be a bit annoyed right now, but firstly, it's not that deep. But you don't actually deep that it's not that deep until later.
That's actually very true, you know.
Firstly,
until the damage is done.
Until the damage is done. First, it's not that deep. Secondly, Ax is a very solid friend. I'm going to allow this little situation to potentially blow up a very solid friendship. But people don't look at, yo, Ax has been solid for years. And this little mishap, because this could have been a miscommunication, I don't know. I'm assuming that, oh, he just violated.
Yeah, I think that's what we always assuming that someone's, like, when someone's done you wrong, I think
they've been plotting, bro.
That, or like it's malicious. And sometimes not. I think that's something that I've learned as well, is that like, sometimes people do you wrong. It's not always what you think it is, you know?
And do you know what it is? Another thing was that I actually trust Ax's character, that even if this was, he actually just forgot or he did it on purpose, I don't actually think he did it on purpose, like giving him the benefit of the doubt.
To be fair, if you have a friend and you think that they would do something like that on purpose, that's part
giving
of it.
him the benefit of the doubt. Questions. But I also knew at that point in time, I couldn't see him face to face, because if I saw him, maybe I'd say something I shouldn't say. So I said, cool, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna just take it easy. I'm gonna just bake at the train station for time. So I baked at the train station for an hour, just saying, God, hey, deep breaths, calm down. Then, at first, another thing I was going to do, I was just going to go back to Wolves.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was just going to go back to Wolves. I got up, walking, I said, nah, sit back down. Because me going back to Wolves, this situation
would have made it,
will just like blow it out of proportion for no reason. Because now, there's no, like, if let's say me and him, like, even do rekindle, I can't lie, I've actually just dragged it more than it should be dragged, in it, in the sense of I've gone back to Wolves. Now, when am I going to see him again? If I call him, it's not the same. So I stayed in Burbs. I said, cool. After church, me and him will talk. Then they've come to pick me up. Then we've gone to the yard. Jeff was there, and Jeff was like, "Hey, man, talk about it." So we spoke.
Heart, bro, heart to heart.
Heart was the mediator. So we've spoken about it, and bro, after like 20 minutes, bro, we're watching football, we're eating food, auntie's there, vibes. But that situation could have been detrimental to so many things. Because even now, let's say that situation wasn't sorted properly, even now, me and him could have me and him could potentially have a little animosity between us right now. But I deep that sometimes, like, giving firstly your friend the benefit of the doubt, understanding their character, looking at the situation as a whole, like, hey, holistically, like, yo, he's actually been so solid as a friend, bro. Like, this little situation, and also get over yourself.
No,
like just get over yourself.
It goes back to take the log out of your own eye.
Get over yourself, bro.
That benefit of the doubt thing is really important.
Get over
What's
yourself.
interesting though, like even from that situation, and I'll go back to Squared's point in terms of showing that love and holding each other at a high standard. Because in uni, I'm not a bad guy, but I was tweaking a few times.
Yeah, like when you left us stranded in Birmingham.
Repeat offender, you know.
Serial offender.
There was another. You remember that? There was another case with me and Quabs.
When you left him stranded in Birmingham,
No,
place. Remember that?
I remember that.
Not to stay till 6 a.m.
When you're with DY and you thought I was when you guys said, "Oh, should we come or not?" But me and Jeff were fixing a wardrobe, and you thought I was like, "Oh, I don't even know, man." So I've had my
a few.
Right now, I'm a good guy. But I think it goes back to that point that Square said, because at that moment in my life, you know, things are on a low, moving very, very sus. But the more like guys addressed, especially how my character was, it raised the standard even more higher and even showed even more love. I'd probably say that from that instance, it's probably made me and Quab so much closer.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
So much closer. Like when I come to Birmingham, oh bro, how you doing? This, that,
sure.
like checking in, like proper one-to-one conversations now and everything. And it made me realize as well that, you know, throughout this journey where you're having these levels of corrections, it's so the love becomes even much more greater, you know, along the way. And I started to realize that. And even like for me, I remember like when that situation happened, I was in church, innit, and I was thinking, well, what am I doing? Like, why was I tweaking that day? And it's on the back of your mind, and it's like, oh, like is not only getting called onto excellence for like your friends, but called onto the excellence for God. Because if you believe that God has placed people in your life, then you should really take advantage of what's around you and really start showing that respect, you know, in that type of way. And I started to realize over time how important it is that the way I showed that respect, or the way I showed that Christ-like love to my friends, I would want that back.
Because another thing that, like, there's two things here that the situation also showed me. Firstly, your ability to also accept that, hey, because a lot of people be on this defensive thing, like, oh, bro,
I wasn't even like that,
bro. Look how many times I've driven you to church. And another thing, the way Jeff was as well. Jeff was the mediator, and whether he agreed with me, he agreed with Axe. He wasn't on this flex of like, oh, Axe, what do you think you're doing? Oh, Christ, what do you think you're doing? He was just on a, yo, man, just talk. And I think that's important, and I think that's why this friendship that we have with the Mandem has worked so well, because Mandem understand the situation and understand how to act in the situation. Like, Jeff isn't gonna move mad in that situation. If you were the mediator as well, you wouldn't move mad. But there's a lot of people who would be the mediator and probably even cause more division. Because Jeff was with Axe, Jeff could have been to Axe. Bro, I don't even know why he's moving mad, bro.
He's not like, bro, you get him every week.
You get him every week. Why's he moving mad for? But the fact that even Jeff was able to even be mature and say, hey, this ain't really got anything to do with me, but these men are men, bro. They can actually sort it out. They can.
I'll tell you something. This is a complete side note-ish, yeah. I think this is a good thing about conduct as well, because you see situations like this. I hear a lot of them go wrong when people are drunk. And this is why I mentioned conduct, because it's drugs, alcohol, and like emotions normally make very regular situations mad. Bro. So for example, I think the big thing you see about like when guys argue over girls, a lot of it is because of pride and lust. Because you want her, you've now said and done stuff you wouldn't usually do. Because you don't want to look late, you wouldn't normally, because you're yacked on all these things. And it's like, I think that's where, when you have a friendship group where there's a certain standard of conduct as well, it allows for there to be a more normal level playing field for conversation. By the way, do you know what's also really funny, actually, why I actually a slight serial offender? Did you not see what Wiz posted the other day about Biz's birthday that time in the mansion?
Yeah.
The context was basically, obviously, guys, this is a long time ago.
But you know, me and Biz always have a like. It's the
was it like the argument?
At like the man said like the Bible started like 9-10. At like 10-11 p.m. These men had finished ball. These men are in Burns. They finished ball at like 8-9 p.m. They were supposed to get ready and come. 10-11 p.m. These men are chilling in Burns. Cool. What Jones are there though? Man, I'm like, it's this man's birthday. He's like, alright, cool, I hear that, but like, what Jones are there though? Is
it worth me taking the trip?
Is it worth it? And he get a cab, like, then he now comes, and you're like, midnight, 1 a.m. Then he's like, nah, you man violate. And when Axe came in, one of the first things he asked was, Rado, what Jones are here? and then Biz is like, nah, bro, you violated. And Matt's like,
that video is funny. Hey, Biz's head was hot.
His head was good.
Hey.
But no, I think you make a good point about having friends that are willing to say, do you know what, I've violated. I've done wrong. And that's where sometimes you have to be willing to not always be right. And also be willing to, you might have thought that they've done you wrong some small way, whatever, but who's the real victim? I just spoke about previously. And I think also as well, the whole thing of not keeping any record of wrongs is really, really important. I've learned this lesson very recently, actually, because basically a friend of mine, there was a situation where I was like, oh, they might have done something. And I realized, that I was kind of looking at it potentially from a perspective of what I knew they were capable of. And I think you have to find the balance of, cool. You see like Axe, for example. I know he might...
I'm getting thrown.
You're done now, so. But like, cool, he might forget that you're there and just go about his business. But, and so like, let's say now, I've said to Axe, oh, link me at midnight. Oh, that's mad, sorry.
Whoa.
Wire.
That's mad still.
Link
you mad at midnight.
Let's say I don't know, like, it's the man I'm having an event. Okay, cool. We'll link about 2:30. It's 2:40. He's not here. I'm like, Axe, well,
yeah, because this is what he did to Quest.
You know what I'm saying? He just got caught in traffic, and I think it's like finding the balance between, yes, I know you have gone wrong like this before, but that doesn't mean that's what you've done.
You have
now.
that gene, but I trust that it's gone.
And I think that's where the benefit of the doubt comes in.
So how do you like do that whilst not like just being taken advantage of all the time?
It's obviously be wise, but you never it's also this thing about deciding, do you want to be friends with this person?
Yeah, I'm saying that, bro.
Because
you need to make it.
I think that's something that's
true.
Like, you don't always ask yourself that question because sometimes just going with the vibes, they're friends in it. But it's like, if you say, I'm going to be friends with this person, give them the benefit of the doubt. You know,
100%. 100%.
And it's like, in that case,
it's like counting the cost a bit.
Do you get me?
Weird way.
It's like, you know what you've signed up for, kind of thing. I have a saying that if you have a lion in your house, don't be shocked when it bites you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, you knew what you were getting into.
You need to know what because I think there's certain things, where like I was saying it to the youth as well. I was saying like there's gonna be certain traits that your friend has, In an ideal world, you might not want them to possess it, but they're flawed as a human being. They possess it. And so I was saying like, bro, you just have to make peace that this is who they are. Yeah. And they were like, they're violating though, they're violating. I was like, bro, like the reality is, bro, I was telling them maybe because you're in secondary school, you're in the playground, just outing people on Snapchat or whatever, you man don't understand. I was saying like, bro, there's certain things that you're just going to have to live with if you want to be friends with them. If you don't want to be friends with them, you got to make that decision.
And also, as well, some people, they don't want to be friends with the person. They want to be friends with an idea they have with the person. Yeah, so, for example,
that's true.
So, like, for example, I know, see DSQ in it. You could speak to DSQ frequently. DSQ is not the friend you're going to be on the phone to every single day. Yeah. However, if you want DSQ that's on the phone to you every day, you don't want DSQ. Yeah. Is that simple?
Sorry, guys.
You know, if you want to be friends with Quabs and you want to go,
same thing for Quabs, bro.
Yeah, same thing for Quabs. If you want to be friends with Quabs and you wanna go on 2 mans every week, you don't want to be friends with Quabs. Same way if you want to be friends with Axe and you want Axe to be on time all the time.
Axe is on time, bro.
You are.
He's actually good at being a timekeeper.
You know what though?
But you know what I'm saying, innit? It's like when you go
to
to the pizza shop and you say, I want the ham and pineapple, but not with ham or pineapple. I want beef, olives, and it's like...
It makes no sense, bro.
Before, my timekeeping, attendance was all over the place. But then I started to realise, especially like seeing examples, say for instance, of Quab Squared, like especially like, you know, being on time or being present, say for instance, for like prayer or Bible, wherever it is, innit? It made me realise that, you know what, like, if I know that these are my brothers in Christ and they've set such a high standard, you know, going back to like being, you know, showing your diamonds, basically, I'm like, you know what, like, this is motivating, this should be driving, and this is what excellence should be called to look like, you know, and that should show in like different aspects of your life and especially into your friendship. Because before I was awful like that, but then it's like, you know what, now like, especially like, say for it's the pod, I realized that this is a gift, something that is placed among 5 very close friends. Like, this will help us not only grow together, but grow actually more in the direction of Christ and the standards that need to be done. I think I came to realization, I said, you know what, like these are brothers that, you know, we're in this journey together. And going back to you say like, that is that type of love. It's not like critical, like, oh, getting on, it's like, yo.
Respect, yeah. And I think it goes back to like you were saying, Ax, like kind of like compromising a bit. You have to compromise with your friends to a certain extent. Like, For example, there was one of the young G's, yeah, she has this friend, yeah, her replies very, very late, like 1 week or whatever. Obviously, bit of a drag, innit? I understand it's a bit of a drag, but she did say, like, bro, the reality is, like, I don't use my phone, I don't really use socials. Whether she's bongoing or not, from what I know, she actually isn't, because I know her, and that's just her form of communication. And this one of the young G's coming back to me like, oh, but this is what she's doing, this is what she's doing. I said, bro, she's told you this is what her communication style is. Now, all your offense and your hurt is not that it's your fault, but it's like, you know what you're saying. I literally told her, this is what she's told you. She's giving you the terms and conditions of the contract. I said, at the end of the day there, whether or not she's right, you have to respect yourself and say, I'm either going to sign up to this and play these minutes, or I'm going to leave. Do you get what I mean? And I think that's the reality, is that people, like Bian said, people have the idea of what they would want in a friend, or what they want their friendship to look like. But at the end of the day, if the person's saying this is just not what it's going to look like, bro, it's literally up to you. Yeah. And it's difficult. I'm not saying it's easy, because, you have those strong the filial love bond, bro. In the Greek, bro, the friendship love bond, bro.
Speaking English, bro.
But you see, I get friendship is so deep, and like you can be deeply in love in friendship and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not saying it's always easy, but the reality is, bro, you just have to. It goes back. Can you play those minutes or not, bro?
But
can
also,
you? Yeah.
There's something here as well that I think sometimes people makes these conversations difficult. When you have a brethren who's your closest friend, but
they're not you're not their closest friends. Yeah.
For you, let's just say
that's reality.
Let's say I have a friend called John, right?
Yeah.
For me, John is my number one closest friend, but I'm John's like number 10.
Yeah.
Then it can get dark sometimes. But this is where sometimes you have to be honest with yourself, and sometimes have hard conversations. Just be like, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like, what you're asking of me, I can't play those minutes for you. And sometimes that can be heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But it's better that you know.
And it's better to acknowledge as well. Like, I have people in my life here that I know I'm not in their top 5 probably. Maybe I have them, to be fair, I don't think I have that to an extent. But I'll think of like, I don't think I have that. But I think of someone that, like...
Yeah, I don't think I have that.
But there is someone in my life that, like, I look to for advice and help and all that kind of stuff. I have him in my life fairly high, if that makes sense. I know that he doesn't have me as that high, but the reality is, I know what a relationship looks like. I know what the structure looks like, if that makes sense. And so I kind of I've made peace with that. I know that this isn't my first port of call for something that happens in life, but I'm going to acknowledge that he's there and let him play those minutes, but know that it's not the same, if that makes sense. And you kind of have to make peace with that. And I think it hurts your pride. It hurts a lot of people's pride. For me, and that's the thing. But for me, it doesn't. You have to humble yourself. Reality, when you get older, your friendships are so different. Friendships are so different. You're going to have, when you have like mentors and all that kind of stuff, you might be their first port of call, like your mentor or whatever. You're not their first port of call. So you have to be able to like, that's why I always speak about like defining friendships. You have to be able to define them and recognize what this is and what this isn't. A lot of people make what it isn't, what it actually is. Yeah. And then that's where the hurt and that's where the pain and that's where also the unfair expectations on the other person gets put onto them. The disappointment. And that's when the friendship looks really, really unhealthy. When really and truly, the friendship could be really healthy if you kind of address the position you have in their life. But you don't want to humble yourself.
Maybe they might come to a compromise. But if they don't,
then and that's what sometimes I can't like. You have to ask the person like, right, like, where do I actually where do you see? Rank? And it's dark. Somebody asked me that one time, and sometimes
that's how my thing got. Like, that's where the issue happened with me and someone. You know what I'm talking about.
I think I will put it together in a second.
Me and someone else where they saw me as like maybe top 3. Told me like the information they've given me is like I'm a top 3-2 friend. And because I didn't have them in that same position personally, I didn't interact with that well, if that makes sense. Which again, I apologize because I do think there's also a level of a believer and I care that you should have.
You've got a clock. Yeah, if you realise, right, this person holds me in a really high regard.
You have to play some minutes there.
If you know,
if you can't play those minutes,
you have to
say it. Like, bro, they're asking you to play 9. You want to play DM, bro?
You're trying to play cameo minutes.
But there's certain times in someone's life where they want you to play 9. Yeah. Obviously, maybe sometimes where you just can't, but sometimes you just have to tough it out. You have to play in it. You have to play in it.
For sure.
And that's why I apologize because I feel like I should have done that. And I didn't do that. I was very much like, but I want to play 6. But I should have been.
Sometimes it's required still. Even if you don't want to do it.
As a brother in Christ, bro, what's consider people's interest better than yours, innit? That's why I held up my hands.
I just don't hear me so.
That's why I held up my hands and I apologize because I recognized that God made me realize, technically, yes, you're 6, but they needed you to play 9, bro.
Yeah.
And Marino, bro, just give us these games, bro. Give us these games.
I need some of that, yeah.
A quick question I have as well is, I was talking about this kind of diverts a bit differently, but I was talking on me and my friends when we went paddle, we were talking on the train about this. Do you think it's okay to have like, especially on the basis of like enduring in love, persevering, what's it called? Bearing with one another. Do you think it's okay to have one categorical thing in a relationship, in a friendship context, that if this person does that, I'm blowing it up straight away?
I think it's...
And how do you think that balances with enduring in love? Again, I know enduring in love doesn't just mean brush everything, but yeah, what do you think that looks like?
I think everybody has their thing in it.
She was saying shouting. She said hers is shouting. If you shout in her face,
I think it's 50-50. Shall I tell you why? I think that it's fair to have that thing. However, you should also recognize why do you have that thing and address it. So, for example, it might be maybe like trauma. Let's say maybe you've come out of an abusive relationship, so stuff like shouting triggers you very quickly. So you actually can't tolerate that. That's very, very fine. However, you should also be doing what is therapy, counseling, prayer, whatever needs to be done to address that. Because sometimes these things, people look at them as, this is my red line, this is my line of compromise. No, it's actually your flaw and your weakness that you're undealt with pain. Yeah. So I think it's fair to have that line. I'm trying to think, do I have one? Do you not have one?
I hate when people are condescending. If someone's condescending to me, that it never happened to Mandem though. But I don't know if I'd cut you off. I don't know if I have something that would cut you off. Because I was thinking that, like, back to the question, obviously Mandem can answer. How does that balance with like being able to like bear with people's weaknesses? Because at the end of the day, let's just say your one is shouting. You've made it clear. So let's say I say to Bien, bro, if you shout at me, I hate that. Like, just don't do that. But once, emotions get heated, Bien shouts. Obviously, like, I'd like to think he hasn't shouted because that's going to hurt me. It's just emotions have got heightened and he's done that. Is it fair for me to, like, how loving is that for me to say, bro, you've done one thing I told you never to do, I'm cutting you off?
This actually happened to me the other day. Someone did something to me that I told them to never do. Like, specifically, I said to them, do not ever do this thing. And then,
and they did it.
So cool. I did something to them, and then they threatened to do this thing to me. I stood in their face and I said, do it if you're bad. And they did it. I said,
hey, unpack this after the episode, bro.
And then they did it. Bro, when I told you, I was so shocked. I went silent I was just like, cool, say that, we're done. Like, we're not breaking no more. Then, after, I was like,
I always had to realization. I was like,
too impulsive with his decision making.
I was like, I know I'm tweaking here, innit? Because firstly, what I had said in the first place to never do wasn't actually that deep. Secondly, it was a retaliation. Even though I feel like they were wrong first, I still understood why they did what they did. And I think that's the thing. It's about understanding. Like, if you have your red line and somebody steps over it, it's not, these things are nuanced sometimes. It's recognizing why. So, like, even sometimes, like, one time I have a brethren, who, like, bro, they just did me dirty. Like, there was genuinely just no reason for it.
Oh yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
There was no reason. And when I spoke to them, I was like, bro, like, why? And they were just like, I can't lie, like, I just weren't thinking of you, innit? And I was like, but I was like, do you know what? Yeah, I kind of preferred that to being malicious. That, like, I wanted to hurt you, kind of thing. And it's like, do you know? Sometimes it's been, because when I thought about it, I was like, do you know what? In the situation that you're in, I understand why you wouldn't have been thinking about me. I wouldn't be thinking about me either. I would be thinking about you get me, what's in front of me. Yeah. And so it's like, sometimes it's being understanding. It's and I think the thing of enduring is always seeking to understand people. You see your friends, right? Even if they do something, it's never for no reason. Even if they tell you, there was no reason. There was a reason. And sometimes it's trying to understand that, but then also thinking about, don't hurt yourself. There's a way to love and to not remain in friendship. Yeah. And I think this is the thing. If it pains you to remain there, for example, whenever you're around them, you feel uncomfortable. Whenever you're around them, you don't feel like you can be yourself.
Can't play those minutes, innit? And then you got.
That's why you have to love and leave.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
I think for me, it's when they use my flaws against me. In a sense, like almost in like in a threatening type of way. So that's happened in a long time because now our friendship group, and I definitely would say like since I've come out of uni, my perception of friendship and even the way I've coordinated has changed massively, innit? But I think when I was in college, you know, it was one friend, one female friend I was close with, innit? Like just sharing some stuff, you know, like really, really close, really, really good people. And then it got to a point where I think I was going through a bit of a situation.
I get what you mean.
Someone I was talking with, and then she was like, oh, like she was just saying very personal stuff in it, and then saying as if she was going to like bait out to like her friends and etc.
Yeah, so like using something that you've told them in like vulnerability and in secrecy, and they bring it up against you. Oh yeah, that's dark. That's dark.
And I can't.
That's so dark.
And to be honest, I'm not gonna lie. I think I went for a season like I don't really have like female friends like that, and I think it probably scarred me a little bit.
Yeah, I hear it.
Raw, like, I don't know if I could. Did
it also kind of like change how you approach your girl?
Yeah. I think the first part, like the first few months, like talking to her, like I was very like.
When you lot were friends, or
when we were friends, we were always like we clicked very well because we started off as friends, me and my girl. You know what I'm saying?
Let's get laughing. Let's get laughing.
Hey, shout out to her, man. But like we clicked very, very well. But there was like a stage where I felt like my insecurities, she'll kind of like use it against me. So I always start like arguments or like, you know, making me kind of like retract back. And
it's deep.
No, it's real deep, you know. Like, so I think
in hindsight, do you ever feel like sometimes you were overly defensive because of what had happened before?
Yeah, 100%. And like even to the point now, like I'm very much my friends are like a lot of them are like them few female friends there, but not like bros like that. But I think still like recovering from that. It's like raw, like just how a female friend can treat me or in a type of way. Because I'm thinking guys will never do that type, like try and like use your insecurities like, against you, bro. You know, if they do that, like I think even the random will kind of say that's a bit like a bit. Not soft, but
no,
like,
it's wise still.
Yeah, like a wire for that, innit?
You can't do that.
And I think it kind of made me realise, like, you know, there's still a healing process, but I guess, you know, that's the part of friendship. You realise what you like, what you don't like. I think what's key as well, though, you can't use what you've experienced in a certain period to kind of like determine your outlook of friends, because there are some friends out there, male or female, that can really, you know, transform your life for the better. You know, I'm lucky that it's been with the guys. You know, especially like the later part of uni, moving on to like us working, the way we've grown together, like it's helped. But yeah, it's just a transitional stage. So yeah, that period was dark still, but yeah.
I know what mine is as well. Actually, I was thinking about this the other day. Mine is when people judge me to be the bad guy without reason, or like before I've actually done anything, and I've realized why as well. I feel like because there was a long period of my life where I was the bad guy. And we're like, and because of like the reputation I had, people just thought I was the bad guy
all the time,
with or without reason in it. And so I've realized that now, like, whereby it's like, hey, why is it F me for? It's like it really ticks me off when people just assume, you know, and because even there was a girl I spoke to during the time when I was coming to Christ, like just before till like just after, right? And I feel like she, that's something that she used to do, not all the time, innit? But there was a few times where like she kind of tried to play this moral high ground, but like, oh, but you're the bad guy. And I was like, what? I even done that? You just make me. And I was like, and I feel like that proper like.
Man, I've been scarred, bro.
I think trauma, bro. It took me a while to realize that. I think actually because I had so many good friends and nobody ever did that to me, that it took me a while to realize, right, that's something that actually gets to me. Because then it took a while before somebody did it again. I'm like, and I found myself reacting to things like way deeper than the issue actually is. And then I realized it's because of that. And I think that's what I said before about the benefit of the doubt thing. I think that's something, when people don't give me the benefit of the doubt without reason, I'm like, what do I do, man? And like, even like, I had this conversation with my mum the other day, and like, you know, like when parents do this thing, well, let's say they come and says the living room is dirty. And start getting onto everyone. It's like,
bro, I used to hate that.
I ain't even do it, but it's that kind of thing. Like, you know, when like, I think people talk about in this relationship. Let's say, oh, your ex cheated on you. So then I say, you go out with your boys. Oh, you're gonna. And she's like, bro, like, I didn't do that. Kind of thing. But
I didn't cause that.
Yeah, but that's just it. I can't think of a friendship example like that. But
what's yours?
I actually don't know, and I'd need to think a bit more.
Is it when people waste your time? I feel like that's something that really gets to you.
Yeah. Bro, like, you've been pre my life, bro.
I think yours is like when, well, this is just from observation. Like when, like if Crabs like either sets time aside for you or like says like, oh, we're going to meet up at the time and you don't stick to it, don't really get it.
I think it's when you don't value what he values, kind of thing. Not in a, like a,
when you don't appreciate,
not in a,
when you don't appreciate.
Because I think when Crabs goes out his way for something, it's a big thing. Like he's considered it and measured it. And so like if you don't reciprocate that, it's like, man, like all the thought and process I went through this. You've kind of belittled all that kind of stuff. And so
I think for DSQ it's when people take your kindness for weakness. And they kind of like when people try to take advantage of your kindness, I think that's something that gets to
deep, man. Deep.
What would you say is yours?
That and people being condescending. Like people trying to speak to me like I'm rubbish. Like
you're a juice.
I don't know where that came from, but I remember someone did that to me, innit? And it triggered something in me. I was like, bro, what the hell? I ended the call straight because I was vexed. I was like, you can't speak to me like that. I think it's because I would never do that to someone. I think like I've never been someone before Christ. Like I think obviously in terms of Christ-like love, I wasn't loving at all. But I think I've always been quite a gentle, friendly person. And like regardless of who you are, I can't see myself speaking down on someone. That's just never been who I am. And so I guess when you do it to me, it hurts because like, where did that come from? If that makes sense. And then like you said, kindness for weakness as well, just because I think I am someone who gives the benefit of doubt to people. And it's kind of like, if you use that to, I guess, abuse the situation, it's just like, as a person, I don't really get angry. It's just very painful because it's like, man, like I couldn't ever imagine doing that kind of thing. But I realize as well that where like when I was talking to the youth, when it comes to these situations, I was saying like, you always consider weakness, and that's twofold. Consider your own weakness in terms of like your failures, your flaws, and the mistakes that you've made, but also consider their weakness. Like there's one thing I love about David that David says in Psalms. I can't remember where Psalms. It's in the hundreds, in it, and he says that how like the Lord is tender and he's compassionate to us, for he knows that we're only dust. And I was saying to them like, you have to realize that humans are dust, bro. Like they have a lot of weaknesses. This isn't to downplay your hurt or anything, but you have to consider your weakness, that because there's certain things that maybe I've done. You see how I said that I would never do that to you? There's probably maybe certain things I've done that I don't hold in the same right, and I might have violated, and they might be thinking, well, I would have never done that to you. And so you kind of have to see things differently from different sides. What you hold as very important in terms of like quite an example about the value in making time, maybe what they consider really important is like speaking to him every day. And they would never go a day without messaging Quabs. But then when Quabs does it, and because he doesn't really see that as like that big, then it's nothing to him kind of thing. And so you have to kind of consider people's different...
Yeah, get to know people's...
Yeah, as actually, again, a personal level, bro. Understand like how people... Because people perceive or rank things differently.
Yeah.
What you rank as really important, your friend might still rank it as important, because obviously because we're all following the standard of Christ, we probably would rank those things importantly, but it might be not number one, it might be like 4. And so you have to kind of understand that and get on other people's level. Because for me, if someone doesn't speak to me for like, if someone has error on my message for 4 days, I actually wouldn't really be upset. I don't really value that highly to a certain extent. Whereas other people, they value, they would take that so personally. On my days, he violated. And so it's being able to see it from their angle as well, and being willing to, that's what I'm talking about, compromise, being willing to like, oh, okay, Axe considers this really important. Cool, I don't really consider that important, but for the sake of the friendship, I need to bring this way more up. And then also Axe understanding that Daniel doesn't really consider this important.
I'm trying.
Do you get what I mean? And so it's just all about working together, man. Yeah. And I think, just lastly, like, I think if you want to have longevity in your friendships, you just have to have tough skin as well. I think as Christians, we don't really want to say that to people. It sounds insensitive, but Christ got crucified, bro, for the people he loved. And as we were saying, the standard of Christ is not too far, bro. So again, I'm not saying you need to let people nail you on a cross, but you need to be really willing to play those winnets, bro. You have to be willing. You have to get tougher skin. A Christian is a resilient person. I think we don't really deep that. Yeah. But like, resilience is everything.
Perseverance. Endurance.
Romans 15, the God of all encouragement and endurance. To be a Christian, you have to be willing to endure. And so if you're looking for the first excuse to leave a friendship, you're not going to have any longevity, man.
I don't think that there's anybody who has friends for over 10, 15, 20 years
that doesn't go for a little shot.
You get me?
Here and there.
When I think like about all of what me and you guys is now, what is it,
2017 maybe?
Yeah, about like 7, 8 years. For us, like what, 10, 12 years. And it's like, all of you have offended me at least once in one way or another.
Probably. Yeah.
Actually, I think so anyway. No, to be fair, actually. Yeah, come through me on a cage wall.
But I think also beyond this, very quickly, very quickly on that as well. Is like
gentle.
Is knowing like what fights to pick. Because if you're nitpicking at everything, there's probably little things that we've all done to each other.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's looking
that we can bring it up.
It's never that deep. Like.
And so sometimes it's knowing, do I actually need to speak about this thing, or is it something that I can like brush under the carpet and just make peace with? Because I think there's certain people, every single little thing they want to bring up, and that's when people get offended, and then people try and have to justify their case and all that, and it just gets nasty. Not every single situation you need to bring up to your friends. So it's having like wisdom and discernment to know, and
also finding the balance between what is repeated offenses that are getting to you that you need to bring up, and what's just I can brush this.
Yeah,
I think it's maybe a man them thing, not always in it, but I feel like man them are sometimes like I violate, I know that deep, bro. Man are just moving, man are just tweaking it is what it is, kind of thing. But if you can see that that's changing your countenance towards your brother,
you need to bring
your
it
sister,
up, bro.
You should bring it up, because if you keep brushing stuff, but it's making you look at them differently, say something.
What did I say at the beginning of the episode? That quote about the hard conversation.
Oh, if you need to have the hard conversations, and if you don't have the hard conversations, you will see the outcome of not having those conversations.
Hey.
Deeper.
We'll
see you on the next one, man.